Everywhere I go, I keep seeing 12s. It's like that weird Jim Carrey movie or something. Oh yeah, like 12 numbers on the clock, 12 months on the calendar, 12 colors on the color wheel. Is there something wrong with me? Am I going crazy? No, you're entering the tunage zone. On today's episode of Tunage to Soonage, we're going to explore an answer to the question, why are there 12 notes? Wait, 12 notes? Aren't there like a lot of notes? Yes, but they repeat in cycles called octaves. Octave. I've heard that word before. What is that? Well, every note you play has a frequency. For example, this A on the piano has a frequency of 440 hertz, or vibrations per second. Nice. That's a smooth frequency. Now if I play this A, it has a frequency of 880 hertz, exactly double the frequency of the first A. Wow, okay. And they kind of sound the same, don't they? Our ear processes that as the same note, just one is in a higher octave. Octave. I get it. We bridge the gap of the octave with 12 unique notes, and that sounds like this. Okay, that checks out, but I've got more questions. What about those weird ones with the hashtags? Those are sharps, right? What's the deal with sharps? The note naming system gets a little complicated, but we'll go step by step, day by day. Yeah. So 7 out of the 12 notes just get regular letter names. Right, but why those 7? Those happen to be the notes of the C major scale. Oh yeah, like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. That's another way of saying it. There's a lot more we could say about the major scale, and we'll definitely cover that in a future video. Sure we will. Anyway, 7 out of the 12 notes have regular letter names. Yeah, all right. Got it. So the 5 notes we left out are either called sharp or flat, depending on context. Context. Why do I have to deal with that? Can't I just pick a name and stick with it? Honestly, yes, you could. If you just wanted, for example, to call the note between D and E flat every time, go ahead. But like, officially, I'd be wrong sometimes. Yeah, but who cares? Whatever helps you learn. I like your style, but I also don't like being wrong. For now, let's just say this. If one of the main notes in your song is an E, for example, you would call this note right before it D sharp. Okay. But if one of the notes in your song is a D, you would call the note right after that E flat. But it's the same note. It totally is. It's just a naming thing. Okay, so 5 of the notes just have weird names sometimes. Yes, and the other 7 pretty much just have the same name every time. And 5 plus 7 is 12. So that gives us all the notes. Right. Anything else I need to know about note names? Just one more thing to note. Of course there is. So between C and D, for example, you have a sharp flat note. Yeah, C sharp. And like between F and G, you have F sharp. Right, but there are 2 spots where one letter name just leads straight to the next one with no sharp flat note in between. Why? It's that major scale thing again. They just named the notes so that C major would get all the letters. It's a little random, I know. So which letters don't get sharps? E goes straight to F, B goes straight to C. Just remember that. All right. E goes straight to F, B goes straight to C. Anything else I need to know? As far as note names go, we'll just leave it at that for now. The main thing we're interested in are the patterns. Nice. Okay. So the 12 notes are... Okay, I see. So you move up the notes in a circle, the circle makes an octave, you got 12 of them. But one more question. If you move from one note to the next note, how far are you going really? Oh, I thought you'd never ask. So the distance between two notes is called an interval. And so far we've just been looking at the smallest interval in music, going straight from one note to the next. That's called a semitone. For example, going from C to C sharp. Or E to F, because there's nothing in between. Exactly. Each of the 12 notes is separated from the next one by a distance that's called a semitone. That semitone sounds kind of ominous. I think it's freaking me out. Oh, what if we go up 2 notes? That's called a whole tone. So like C to D. Yeah, or E to F sharp. What if you went all the way through the circle, 2 notes at a time? That, my friend, is the whole tone scale, and it has 6 notes. When am I going to use that? People use the whole tone scale all the time. You hear it a lot in film scores, the music of Thelonious Monk, and Claude Debussy.
Claude Debussy.
It sounds kind of dreamy. That's exactly when you would use it, when you want to make something sound Okay, this is getting interesting. What if we go up 3 notes at a time? A 3-note interval, so going up 3 keys on the piano or 3 frets on the guitar, sounds like this. And it's called a minor third. I see where this is going. It's called a minor third because it sounds a little sad. Ouch. We can make a circle of minor thirds too, and that gives us 4 notes that are each spaced 3 apart. That sounds suspenseful, like in the old movies when they had someone tied to a train track or something. Those 4 notes together make a chord called the fully diminished chord, which is kind of the ultimate tension point in music. It's used a lot in classical music to change keys, and we'll definitely talk more about that. Intense. What if we go up 4 notes at a time? A 4-note interval is called a major third, and it sounds happy, triumphant. Oh yeah, it does. All right, show me that circle of major thirds. It looks like this. Just 3 notes. That sounds tense, but in a dreamy way. These 3 notes together build a chord as well, and that's called an augmented chord, which is also used for tension, but in kind of a different way. This circle is something that John Coltrane used to build his giant steps progression, which was very influential.
because it's a giant step from one point on the circle to the other one.
Bingo. It's kind of an exercise in musical symmetry, which is what we're exploring with these circles. Musical symmetry.
Okay, so it seems like each time you increase the distance between notes, the circle gets smaller. You go up 2, you get 6. You go up 3, you get 4. You go up 4, you get 3. Does it just get smaller and smaller?
No. We're about to see kind of where the magic happens here. This is the mathy, mysterious reason why there are 12 notes.
Okay, lay it on me. What happens when we go up the circle 5 notes at a time?
Well, first of all, a 5-note interval, so going up 5 keys on the piano or 5 frets on the guitar, is called a perfect fourth, and you've probably heard it before.
Why is it called a fourth when it's 5 notes away?
It has to do with all that major scale stuff. For now, these are just names.
Yeah, okay. So a perfect fourth, 5 notes away. What happens to the circle?
It closes back in on itself, and we get all 12 notes again.
That seems significant.
Yeah, this is kind of a big deal. This symmetry that we're beginning to see is one of the biggest reasons why the 12-tone system has become so popular. It's worth mentioning here that there are other tonal systems that don't use 12 notes. One of them was created by the synth pioneer Wendy Carlos, and I'll include a link in the description with more information about her amazing work. So far, the only complete circles of 12 notes that we've seen are when we go up 1 note at a time, or a semitone, and the circle of fourths.
So far, what happens if you go up 6 notes? The devil's interval.
Also called the tritone. It's very important for building tension in music. It's something we'll talk about more as well. It also sounds kind of evil.
Wow, that does sound evil. But what happens to the circle?
We're at the halfway point now. The tritone splits the circle in half, and we just get 2 notes.
It's like it scared the other notes away or something.
Yeah, I guess. But now that we're at the halfway point, we can kind of lightning round through the rest of the circle, because everything else is going to be a mirror image of what we've already seen.
What do you mean? What if we go up 7 notes?
That's a perfect fifth. And you've probably heard of the circle of fifths. It's the mirror image of the circle of fourths. So that those same notes that we saw in that same pattern, if you just go the other way around, that gives you the circle of fifths.
So fifths are just fourths in reverse,
Yes.
So aside from just going up 1 note at a time, these fourths and fifths, which are kind of the same thing, are the only way you can hit all the notes in a circle.
Yes, and this pattern is fundamental to harmony in the 12-note system. It's basically what makes music work. Going up 8 notes is called a minor sixth, and building a circle of minor sixths gives us the same 3 notes that we saw before when we were looking at the major thirds, just the other way around.
And going up 9 notes?
That's a major sixth. And if you build a circle of major sixths, you get the same 4 notes that we saw before in the circle of minor thirds, just the other way around.
10 notes?
So a 10-note distance is called a minor seventh, and going up 10 is the same as going down cat. Willow. Going up 10 is the same as going down 2. So we get the whole tone circle again that we saw before, just going the other way around.
11 notes?
Going up 11 notes is called a major seventh. And again, going up 11 is the same as going down 1. So we've got another circle of semitones, just moving from one note to the next. Except now, instead of going up in pitch, it's going down in pitch, and we've almost come full circle.
And so we are, I suppose.
The only interval left in the circle is to go up all 12, which brings you right back where you started, to the next octave. Octave. It's just a big circle. Circle. Circle.
Well, that was educational.
I sure hope so. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this, it's to start thinking about the intervals. Think about the way that they sound, and maybe memorize the names. Thanks for being you.